beliefs and religion. Intent of our religious founder, total glory of the resurrection. Amen.
My Lord Bishop, Mrs. Shanti Dias and Professor Priyan Dias, Venerable Archdeacon of Gaul, members of the clergy, members of the Board of Governors, our former warden, Dr. David Ponnaya, and former sub-wardens, Mr. Pakinathan and Mr. Harshana Pereira, other distinguished guests, members of the staff, prize donors, all boys, parents and boys of the school. On behalf of the entire Thomian family, I welcome you all to our annual prize giving for 2015. From this year, we will have our prize giving on or around the 3rd of February each year, as it used to be in the early days of the college, as part of the anniversary of the school. Today is an extra special day for us because on this day, 165 years ago, Bishop James Chapman opened and dedicated the College of St. Thomas the Apostle to the glory of God and for the good of the Church. We give thanks today for the memory and inspiring example of that saintly man of God who spent and was spent in his mission as the pioneering bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Colombo. Bishop Chapman came to this land with a vision for education, among other things. And this is not surprising, considering that he was a teacher at heart, having had been a fellow of Eton College prior to accepting appointment as Bishop of Colombo. In his memorials, it is recorded that he considered education to be the foremost task that he had to look into as bishop, and he immediately set about laying the foundation for a school and college where native boys could be nurtured and trained for the Anglican priesthood. Of course, no sooner had he embarked on this that he realized that even non-Christian children were interested in enrolling at the school. And thus, from the very first, St. Thomas's has fostered a pluralistic community of all faiths and ethnicities, learning and playing side by side. Bishop Chapman valued the role of sports in the all-round education that was to be offered, and introduced cricket to the school very early on. When he returned to England, the school was on a strong footing, and by the turn of the century had begun to have more than a little impact on society in the island colony. Of course, side by side with the saintly bishop's liberal vision was the imperial ideal of education advocated by the British, the goal of which was to produce manpower for the machinery of imperialism. This was perhaps best expressed in the infamous memorandum or minute of Thomas Babington Macaulay, drawn up in the context of the English Education Act of 1835 in India, where he said, "We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions whom we govern, a class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect." Schools like St. Thomas's College did fulfill this objective as well, and produced many men who played a leading role in the political life and civil service of this nation, both before and after independence from Britain. Of course, history has shown that the plan advocated by the British ultimately backfired on them, because it was men and women who benefited from the English system of liberal education that ultimately led the freedom struggles in India and Sri Lanka. We are proud of the fact that St. Thomas's College has produced a number of national leaders, not least 4 of the first 5 Prime Ministers of independent Ceylon, the first Speaker of the House, and the first Chief Justice. but also nationalist heroes such as Anagarika Dharmapala, Dr. N.M. Pereira, and Mr. S.J.V. Chelvanayagam, to name but three. We are proud to count among our illustrious alumni men who have reached the pinnacle of professional and public life in the judiciary, the armed services and police, the medical profession, and in numerous other fields in the private sector. But we are also mindful and proud of all our products, not just the ones who are famous. We are reminded of the words of Justice Noel Gratian, who said that St. Thomas's has produced many men not necessarily born with the advantage of wealth and influence, and not too well endowed with the enviable gift of superior intellect, but nevertheless decent men who marry decent wives and by their own endeavors set up decent homes, men who represent the right kind of public opinion, who will stand firm against the bogus doctrines which emerge from time to time in the life of every nation, men who stand for common sense, integrity, courage, and faith in the traditions of liberty and fair play. It is our fervent prayer and hope that we may continue to do this now and always in this school. Our chief guest this evening needs very little introduction, but for the purpose of record, let me briefly enumerate her achievements. It was difficult to get much information from her about herself, so I had to do some additional research. Mrs. Dias is herself an old girl of Methodist College, and while at school was involved in drama, debating, the Girl Guides movement, and the choir. She won prizes for English, music, and Greek and Roman civilizations, and was the joint winner of the Ramanayaka Prize for the best all-round student. She read English at university and graduated from the University of Caledonia with an honors degree. She is also a fellow of the Trinity College of Music and a licentiate of the Royal Schools of Music in London. She has performed regularly as a pianist with the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka and also plays the organ at St. Paul's Church, Milagria, where she worships regularly. She taught at Methodist College from 1989 to 1991, and then from 1997 to 2015, during which time she was appointed vice principal in 2000 and principal in 2003. She retired at the end of 2015 after 21 years of dedicated service, 13 of them as principal. As principal of Methodist College, Mrs. Dias ensured the maintenance of the founding principles of the school expressed in its motto, "We scatter light." The school under her leadership continued to produce well-rounded young ladies of sound character who brought pride to their school by bearing light to the world. Simplicity, integrity, faith, and moral virtue were stressed as essential ingredients and nurtured within a Christian environment. According to information provided to me by my spies at Methodist College, Mrs. Dias can be given credit for many things during her time as principal. The privatization of the school, the establishment of the basketball court, the introduction of the Edexcel curriculum, the establishment of the Fernando Block, refurbishing the primary school, development of the school choir, today recognized internationally, can all be attributed to her. One may also look back on the memorable day it seems that the school bus was presented to the school during her tenure. Mrs. Dias also took steps to establish educational support units both in the upper school and the primary, giving that ray of hope for education to all girls alike, despite their differing abilities. She also revamped the education system in the primary school to be more student-centered, enhancing the child's natural curiosity and desire to learn. In short, exams were cancelled in the primary school. Above all, she is a Thomian wife and a Thomian mother, who by her actions has always maintained that to be more important than any other role that she has been in whenever she has come to this college. Today is the first occasion on which she is on this stage, as throughout her career as principal, she preferred to sit with her husband in the audience as a proud mother watching her two exceptional sons receive their prizes than on stage as a principal of a school. Mrs. Dias has always struck me as a person who is Shanti not just by name but also Shanti by nature. I cannot forget the many ways that she encouraged and supported me when I went to STC Gurutalava as headmaster, having never been in such a position before, and I am truly grateful for the way in which she helped me to find my feet. She, together with Mrs. Hemamali Bibile of Bishop's College at that time and Mrs. Nirmali Vikramasinghe of Ladies, formed a triumvirate of support for the Greenhorn school principal finding his way in a new world of school administration, and I'm very grateful. Mrs. Dias is accompanied this evening by her husband, Professor Priyan, who is himself an illustrious product of this school, who served the school as a member of the Board of Governors a few years ago and still supports the school with his professional advice from time to time when we need the expert opinion for our various building projects. Like Prince Philip, who has been a loyal consort to Queen Elizabeth, walking one step behind her to catch her if she falls, Professor Priyan has been a strong support to his wife. And today we'll support her by giving away the prizes, which is in itself an arduous task. I have had the privilege of knowing this couple for over 25 years, and I can say from experience that the characteristics that best describe them both are simplicity and quiet confidence deeply rooted in their Christian faith. Thank you both for having accepted our invitation and for being with us this evening. The school progressed satisfactorily well during the year under review. Our boys continued to perform in all spheres of involvement, not least of all in their academics, and we were more than satisfied with the results of the local GCE advanced level examination that were released earlier this year. 212 boys sat the exam, of which 70% qualified to apply for university courses. 7 of our boys obtained distinctions in all 3 subjects, while 15 obtained 2 distinctions and a B pass. This has been an improvement compared to 2014, when there were only 2 boys with 3 distinctions and 4 boys with 2 A's and a B. At the London Advanced Level A2 examination, 43 of the 47 boys who sat passed in all subjects. One of our boys obtained 2 A stars and an A, while 2 other students obtained 3 A's, and 4 of them secured 2 A's and 1 B. All students who sat for law obtained A stars. Sadly, a number of boys failed either all 3 subjects or 2 of the 3 subjects at the local advanced levels. And it was troubling to note that many of them were star sportsmen, reinforcing our resolve that we need to take a look at balancing our sports program more. In this connection, we have now decided to reinforce our remedial learning program more strictly. And it is now mandatory for sportsmen and others falling behind in their studies due to involvements in extracurricular activities to attend remedial classes provided at no extra cost to the parents by the school. We recognize that these lads are bringing honor to the school by their sporting achievements, and that it would be an indictment of the school if we did not help them to achieve the bare minimum passing grade at their final exams. My predecessor used to liken this to child abuse, that is, making use of the talents of a boy, but not doing everything possible to ensure that such a boy, when he leaves school, has been adequately prepared to take his place in society with dignity and at least a basic academic qualification. The academic advisor to sports monitors the attendance at remedial classes of all sportsmen who have failed to achieve the passing grade to ensure their presence and that they get the maximum benefit out of this extra academic support. Our goal is not just to increase the number of those with high levels of academic achievement, but also to bring down the failure rate and ensure that no one is left behind academically. We expect the GCE ordinary level examination results of 2015 to be also satisfactory. We have been very concerned about the future of bilingualism and the number of subjects that the department permits our boys to offer in the English medium. It is a great relief that at least for some time we have the assurances of the powers that be that we may continue to enter boys for their GCE O-level exams with as many subjects in English as possible, including divinity and history. The time has come to reassess bilingualism at primary in order that all our boys would receive the necessary tongues of Sinhala and Tamil. While it is true that English is today the language of opportunity, St. Thomas's College has always encouraged a sound work detriment and our loss. We need to instill a sense of pride. Perhaps the answer to this problem. It will be hard. Challenges, not run away from them. Discipline is the key to success in everything. The restrictions in place both within the school and in the nation. Today we have to talk about expectations and consequences. A small committee Policies of the Sound Mind, Sound Body program, headed up by the new subwarden, has devised a disciplinary structure that lists out the expectations and the consequences for non-fulfillment of those expectations. Implementing this will be a process, but we need to move forward with this in place. We expect parental cooperation in this, as it is unhelpful when parents intervene on behalf of their children at the drop of a hat and undermine our efforts to maintain good discipline. To ensure that there is no unfair treatment, bullying, or victimization, we have some clear protocols in place to respond to parental concerns and queries, not least of all the independent sports ombudsperson, the 24-hour chaplaincy hotline, and the diocesan child protection policy that all staff have to subscribe to annually. In sports and games, we faced a number of reversals of fortune in our annual fixtures with our traditional rivals, Royal College. And I welcome this evening the new principal of Royal in our midst. There were overall successes that we need to take note of, but they were sadly overshadowed by the Royal Thomian defeats. I was very proud of the way our first 15 rugby team redeemed themselves after the Royal Thomian debacle and went on to win almost all their matches in the second half of the season, including the match against St. Peter's. The Ruggerites showed us what Thomian grit is, and the whole school rallied to support them. The manner in which they have begun the 2016 season by winning the Sevens title after 22 years over the past weekend augurs well for the future of Thomian rugby. We had notable success in a number of other sports. In cricket, the first 11 did well throughout their season and went on to emerge semi-finalists at the T20 Singer Trophy tournament and quarter-finalists in the 50 overs tournament, while the under-15 team emerged all-island champions after a break of over 30 years. Our water polo teams did very well, and the under-19 team swept the boards by winning every trophy on offer for water polo, including the Hayman, and won the national title, beating experienced teams such as the Navy in the process. Diving was reintroduced after 10 years, and we were placed third overall at the Sri Lanka Senior Schools meet. In tennis, the college team emerged under-19 all-island champions, while our badminton team emerged all-island inter-school A-division champions. In basketball, our team made it to the semi-finals of the under-19 A-division tournament after 5 years. We became all-island champions under-19 in Scrabble. One of our Osman won the schoolboys color gold award at the rowing nationals, while in swimming we were placed third overall at the Sri Lanka Schools Championship after a very long break, our swimmers having been placed first in 5 events and one of them with a record. Our sailors also did very well in their various regattas and brought distinction to the school. In 2015, we reintroduced boxing and introduced fencing, both of which have been enthusiastically taken up by our boys. Sports is a necessary and vital part of education, and we will never compromise on this. However, sports must not be seen as the primary focus of a school. It is our task to bring balance and to ensure that all who take part in sports get the most out of them for their educational value. So winning is not everything, and I have told my coaches and advisory committees that we must not try to win at all costs or at any cost. We need to focus rather on guiding our boys to enjoy their sports, to develop a passion for them, and above all for the youngest age group to get their basics right in a culture of discipline and focus. Needless to say that teaching them true sportsmanship and how to face both victory and defeat is also very crucial. The victories and the achievements will naturally follow such a program. In other spheres of achievement, I'm happy to report that our English debaters continue to maintain a very high standard of debating. A junior English literary society was begun for the middle school and a junior environment club for the lower school that have begun to trail a blaze of their own. The Wildlife Society continued to serve the cause of wildlife and nature conservation with their numerous activities in Vilpattu and Yala. The religious societies continue to be active in developing a sense of spirituality and the faith lives of the children, while the service clubs continue to serve the community through their various programs and activities. A media unit was formed and works closely with the ICT Society and the Photographic Club to manage the college website and the college app for mobile phones that provide online visitors with much information on the life of the college. The Cubs and Scouts continue to win all the district competitions, winning the Brigadier C.P. Jayawardena Challenge Shield for the 7th consecutive year, as well as the Mayor's Flag for the Best Junior Scout Troop. The Cubs won the CMP Vaningatunga flag for the Champion Cub Pack for the 9th year in succession. All these activities, together with academic work, proves that we are continuing to offer at St. Thomas's an education that will produce well-rounded and integrated young men, not just bookworms who get into university. In this task, we face numerous challenges, but we go on resolutely committed to fulfilling our founder's vision. Our numbers are few when compared to other private boys' schools in the country and, of course, state schools. Upgrading and maintaining our facilities is a constant challenge, as is the task of ensuring that our academic staff are up to date and professionally trained to meet the fast-changing world of education. As of last year, we now have regular teacher training programs every term and workshops to enhance the knowledge of the teachers and to encourage better practice. A comprehensive evaluation and appraisal scheme has also been introduced to monitor staff performance. We are hopeful that these steps will equip our staff to give their best to the children committed to our charge. But we are mindful that this is only part of the story, as we have to deal with the limitations of an education system in this country that is like a straitjacket, to put it bluntly. We are part of an education system that sadly focuses far too much on a style of teaching and learning that is no longer effective for true education. I like to call this the McDonaldization of education. As those involved in the field of education are aware, formal education at all levels is made up of three primary elements: curriculum, teaching, and assessment. The traditional basic strategy has been to standardize these elements as much as possible. In Sri Lanka, the schools under the Department of Education in particular have very firm guidelines and expectations as to what schools within the system should teach as part of a national curriculum. These subjects are in a certain hierarchy, and so we have the compulsory subjects and the optional subjects, and there is very little flexibility, if any flexibility at all, in the choice of subjects. Whether a child enjoys them or not, is good at them or not, has a natural aptitude for them or not, the compulsory subjects have to be followed without deviation. This sort of fixed curriculum then results in a style of teaching that is also standardized, in that the teaching methodology is strongly one of directly imparting factual information to the whole class rather than the encouragement of small group dynamics and working according to different abilities. Despite all the best efforts of the theorists of the National Institute of Education to encourage creativity and free expression through schemes such as continuous assessment or school-based assessments, the majority of our teachers are still stuck in the time warp of sticking to set syllabi and teaching in the same old set way. This way is skeptical and even cynical of creativity, of personal expression, of learning by doing, or learning by discovery, or learning even by play. It has been an uphill task for us to get our teachers at grade 1 to 3 to break out of the instructional method and encourage imaginative and creative activity-based learning, although we have come a long way in this regard. It follows that if curriculum and pedagogy is standardized, then the methods of evaluation are automatically standardized, and so our system of examinations expects regurgitation of mugged up facts and figures, formal written exams, including the extensive use of multiple choice questions, so that students' answers can be easily evaluated. Students are not motivated by such standardized evaluation systems. Teachers are often motivated for all the wrong reasons, some of which includes job security or a financial incentive. This sort of standardized evaluation is cynical of project work, skeptical of coursework, and other such testing methods such as teacher and peer evaluation that are felt to be non-quantifiable as much as the traditional method. Of course, the standardization of exams leads to the evils of competition and tends to increase an unhealthy competitive spirit between students, teachers, schools and school zones and districts, and with the advent of foreign exams such as the London Edexcel and Cambridge exams, even on an international level. My point is that we have become obsessed with and fixated on a standardized system of curriculum, teaching and evaluation that fail to recognize that every child is different and has different levels of competencies and skills. As the much-cited words misattributed to Albert Einstein remind us, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Is this the direction we want to go? Do we want schools to squash creativity and reinforce a model that may have worked well in the past but will not prepare our students for their future? In this, we at St. Thomas's are not alone in our struggle. All schools throughout this country are as affected by this as we are. Education has been described by education theorists as a living process likened to agriculture. Gardeners know that they don't make plants grow, as one said. They don't attach the roots or glue the leaves and paint the petals. Plants grow themselves. The job of the gardener is to create the best conditions for that to happen. This is the same with schools. Some schools will create the right conditions for effective learning, while others will not. Schools that create the right conditions are schools in which students are engaged and inspired to learn, where they are enabled to discover things for themselves, where they are given the assurance that great things are expected of them, no matter how they fare in standardized exams, and where students are empowered to find their sense of direction and, most of all, self-belief. We hope that we will be a school that provides such an environment here. I would be failing in my duty this evening if I did not place on record my thanks to all those who have supported the school through thick and thin during the year under review and have helped us to achieve our goals and to stay faithful to our vision. At the outset, may I say a very special word of thanks to someone without whom we would not be having this prize giving this evening. When I decided to revert to the very old practice of having the prize giving close to Founders' Day, it was this person who had to tell me whether it can be done or it could not be done. Her hard work, despite the challenging circumstances of the ill health of her husband, has made it possible for us to have this event today. And I would like to thank Mrs. Priya Arons for her commitment and her loyalty. May I please invite her to receive a small token of our thanks. Our Episcopal visitor and Chairman of Governors, the Lord Bishop of Colombo, and other members of the board have been very supportive and encouraging. We are grateful for your constant interest in our welfare, the level of confidence that you have placed in me, and the freedom you have allowed me to do what needs to be done. A very special word of thanks to those members of the board who will be completing their term of office during the course of this year for their valued input over the years, particularly Messrs. Merrill Alvihara, Mr. C.P. Sanjay Mendis, Mr. Lakshman Sirivardhana, and Mr. Mitra Edrisingha. I still feel the absence of our late manager, Professor Dayasiri Fernando, who entered a fuller life in God last November. He was an ever-constant friend whose encouraging words and calming influence helped me a great deal during my first year in office. I have no doubt that our new manager, Mr. Raj Ranganathan, will play the same role as we move into the future together, and I thank him for having accepted the task. The Old Boys Association in its 130th year and the Parent Teacher Association have, as usual, been with us and partnered our many ventures through the year with a great deal of commitment. Among other things, the OBA has continued to raise funds for Phase 2 of the Senior Quadrangle project that is now underway, and the PTA sponsored a much-needed facility to house visiting teams adjacent to the dining hall. I am amazed by the capacity of the members of these two executive committees of these support groups in coming forward to organize novel and fun-filled events as and when required to raise much-needed funds for the various activities of the college. The Thomian Walkathon was just one of the many ways in which this support was expressed during the past year. I need to place on record my sincere thanks to our dynamic secretaries of the OBA and PTA, Dilshan Jayasuriya and Janaprit Fernando, for being so staunch and true and rallying your respective groups around the college flag so effectively. Many individual old boys and old boy groups, both in Sri Lanka and abroad, supported the school in numerous ways during the year, not least of all by funding our various projects and also by setting up much-needed scholarships and bursaries for the ever-increasing number of students who require financial support to ensure uninterrupted education at St. Thomas's. Thank you, one and all. My staff are a precious resource. From the man who ensures the beautiful gardens are maintained, to the hard-working teachers in the classrooms, to the coaches on the sports field, and to the executive staff taking important decisions, every single one of my staff is a vital part of whatever success we were able to achieve during the year. Some of them have not always got it right, but I believe that with the right sort of motivation, they too will sooner than later, either fall into place or move on to other places. The welfare of our primary stakeholders, who are the 2,800 precious souls that parents have entrusted to our care and nurture, must be our paramount consideration. And I want to extend my thanks to all my staff for the hard work they put in. Mrs. Janitha Bandaranayaka Piris resigned as the head of the lower school in December due to personal reasons, and her departure was a sad one for all those associated with the lower school. Since coming back to STC as head of the lower school in 2012, she transformed her section in more ways than one. She was an innovator and introduced many new things to enhance the quality of our primary education, and quite honestly dragged many of us kicking and screaming into the modern world. She was kind and considerate to her co-workers and the little ones committed to her charge. Of course, she had strong opinions and never failed to speak her mind, but both my predecessor and I greatly valued her input to make sure that the most crucial section of the school, the reception, as it were, was put in good order. She has been succeeded by her deputy and long-standing member of staff, Mrs. Lalani Muthutantri, who has the task of carrying on the good work that was started by Janitha to take the lower school to the next level. Any school is fortunate to have amongst its staff alumni of that school, and we have been blessed over the years to have had some exceptional old boys on our tutorial, administrative and sports staff. They add much value because they are giving back to their alma mater in more ways than one of their time, their talents and their loyal service. One such old boy staff member who served the school for over 10 years with great loyalty and distinction is Mr. Channa Asela de Silva. I have still to find an old boy staff member who is as passionate or as loyal to the school as him, right down to giving both his sons the initials STC. Mr. De Silva felt that it was time for him to take a break from the staff and stepped out at the end of this term with the assurance that he would continue to give his support to the school till his last breath from outside. In one sense, we are very happy that soon afterwards he was promoted to higher service by being elected uncontested to the post of staff representative to the Board of Governors of the college, where we have absolutely no doubt he will represent the best interests of the staff of the college at all times. I thank him on behalf of all of us for his partnership and support. I'm very glad to welcome officially our new sub-warden, Mr. Asanka Pereira, himself an old boy of the school who had a distinguished record here as a student. He has already begun to feel how arduous a task he has undertaken, but I am more than confident that with the skills he brings and the type of person he is, that he and I will be able to work very well together, and I am very glad to have him with me. Our chaplains, Father Amal and Father Roshan, perform a silent ministry of support, nurture and pastoral care for which I am very thankful. They have also been great support to me personally, guiding and leading from time to time. And they also have to handle very fragile and even fractured lives to help them to get back to normal. Their constancy and faithfulness has been greatly encouraging to all of us. 165 years is a long time. St. Thomas's College has come a great distance in time and stands today as a venerable institution of learning in this country. While there is much to take pride in for all we have and are, the reality is that we are no longer the school we once were. We are no longer at the cutting edge. And there are so many reasons for this that it would take a special lecture to go through them all. Whilst this may be so, we are still a force to be reckoned with out there in the world. And with great respect to my colleague from Royal, we don't need to have Thomians in the cabinet of ministers for this to be true. What perhaps we need to do during this year is to take stock. Where have we been? Where are we now? Where do we want to be? And how do we get there? This process of self-evaluation and a critiquing of ourselves as an institution is a vital process if we are not just to live off the past, but add something to the present and build for the future. I would like to conclude with the words of Canon R.S. Deserum, spoken in 1959 on his retirement as warden. We have something in this school which is good and precious. Guard it well, treasure it and keep it bright. We didn't bring it about. It is something that has been given to us, gathered and put together and fashioned by many generations of masters and boys, each doing his bit, some noticed, some not. Each generation in its time inherits it, strives to maintain it and hands it on, and so it has grown. To this end, we commit ourselves into the future with the help and grace of God. Thank you, and Esto Perpetua. It is now my great pleasure to invite our chief guest to address us. She is a Methodist, but she is going to be a good Anglican today in her speech, I'm sure. Mrs. Dias.
Lord Bishop of Colombo, Warden Reverend Mark Bilimoria and Mrs. Bilimoria, members of the Board of Governors, distinguished invitees, members of staff, parents, old boys, and students. I thank Reverend Bilimoria for inviting Priyan and me for this special occasion and for his generous words of introduction. I must say at the outset that I do not consider myself chief guest material and took a decision when I became principal not to go as chief guest for any event. And in the last 13 years, I have only accepted 2 invitations, one to my old nursery school, Tiny Tots in Bamlapitia, and one to Mowbray College, Kandy, because my classmate is the principal. But I consider your invitation, Warden, as a great honor to my school, because next to my parents, my school and principal, the late Mrs. Shanti Piris, had a significant influence on my life and made me who I am today. And for that reason alone, I accepted this honor. Priyan and I are of course very grateful to the school for the nurture of our 2 sons. They had a very happy schooling with many and varied experiences, some good, some difficult, but we consider all of them to have been learning experience for them and have made them who they are today. A special word of thanks also to the staff here, because I can proudly say that for both our sons, their results at the O-level examination was entirely due to the efforts of the teachers and of course their own input, as we refused to send them for any extra support up to that point. So what do I say to the brightest and best by a particular standard of measurement in this other great school by the sea? I want to state that there are other qualities that we can consider better or more welcome in my view than mere intelligence alone. And to be considered a nice person is sometimes better than to be a bright person. And the qualities that go into being considered nice should be inculcated at home by parents, by staff, by student leaders and peers who should be modeling these qualities in their social interactions and also singling out for praise when they see these qualities in action. And so I thought I will throw a few challenges to all of us present here to consider, using a benediction found in the Anglican Book of Common Prayer as a framework. The prayer reads like this: "Go forth into the world in peace, be of good courage, hold fast that which is good, render to no one evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the afflicted, honor everyone." So what does it mean to be of good courage? Is it merely to have the determination or courage to pursue one's goals or ambitions? Or could it be to have the strength and determination to do something different? Given that it is followed by the line, "Hold fast that which is good," I strongly suspect it is also about speaking out or taking a stand when the general consensus around is different. This may involve some danger or perhaps at least some embarrassment or discomfort to you. If students learn from a young age to speak out for others or against unjust systems or practices that they see in the school or elsewhere, then we will have, that do not necessarily affect them, then we will have a civil society in the next generation that will speak out and safeguard principles of good governance and social justice. Sadly, most of us prefer to lie low and not raise our heads over the wall, so to speak. Students, for fear of jeopardizing their chances of holding school appointments, antagonizing the administration or staff members, or perhaps because of a "why should it be my concern anyway" attitude. Heads of schools present here, including principal of my school, would agree that it would be so refreshing but so rare to have parents coming in to complain about some perceived injustice to some other student in a sport or to a group of students, other students affected by some decision or policy. We always complain when our interests are affected, but never when it is about somebody else. Let me give you an example about speaking out for others and being of good courage. There has been generally a very low opinion about state universities for some time now and of the caliber of undergraduates because they are always striking or protesting on various issues. Issues like the private medical college, increasing privatization of higher education, or about the threat to free education in our land. Having two sons in state universities, I am really amazed that successive generations of students have taken the time to protest, miss lectures, and have the threat of university closure hanging over them as a result of their protests on behalf of future generations of students. I should think that having wasted time waiting to enter university and perhaps having some interruptions in between, they would be waiting to finish their course quickly and graduate rather than safeguard university education for those who will follow. Is that something to commend rather than deplore? A different example. Priyan and I belong to the Graduates Christian Fellowship, and during the years of conflict in our land, whenever Tamil students came from Jaffna Eastern University to Colombo for a student camp, graduates used to host them in their homes. This would involve going to the police station to register them, hanging around there, sometimes taking them to the venue for fear of harassment while traveling around Colombo, sometimes having the car stopped and checked, or homes visited after they are registered, and slightly uncomfortable issues like that. Boys, think about when a social issue affecting your peers outside your circle of friends last troubled you and what you did about it. And adults present here, perhaps we can think of something that we have filed in the back of our minds because we were disquieted by it. Some policy in our workplaces that affect those who do not have a voice or who are not necessarily key components to achieving the goals of our company. Is it time to do something about it, even though your colleagues may think you are foolish? So be of good courage and don't be faint-hearted or weak-willed in speaking out against issues or speaking up for others, even if it brings some embarrassment or danger to you. Hold fast to that which is good is the next challenge I want to throw to all of us present here. Curiously, it is something we don't do, though it seems obvious and the easiest thing to do. That which is good could also mean a way of life that is fast eroding, if not disappearing. Family practices like praying together or at least having a meal a day together, keeping each other informed about our schedules and whereabouts, all of which is impossible with parents working late and children having classes till late in the evening. It is also holding fast to time-honored values which are now being quietly questioned. Values of holding on to marriages even if the relationship is difficult or adapting to the other is hard. Loyalty and integrity to the institution you serve. Acting with dignity even if your actions are being questioned or maligned. And answering such questions only in the right forum and not through social media. Hold fast to that which is good is also particularly appropriate to speak on these days when we know the reality of what occupies the minds of school-going children through social media. Access to pornography and other unhealthy websites are so free and so unregulated that by a mere flick of a finger on their phone screens, our children can entertain themselves. Newspapers reveal that it is not only youth, but respectable adults too who get caught in this trap, foolishly starting inappropriate chats or sharing personal information and other material. These are uncomfortable subjects to speak on at a school prize giving, but it is the reality of the world our students are living in. So what's wrong? it's safe, it's just for fun, it's not like we are meeting that person physically, it's just a virtual relationship. I want to tell you, boys and all those present here, that only you have the power or the strength of mind to resist this or to decide what should occupy your mind. It is not about being found out by school authorities or being suspended or being shamed online. The decisions you take now will affect the type of person you will become later on. And there will be many more temptations that will come your way as technology develops and social fabrics disintegrate. And there too, only your willpower and conditioning of your mind will make you what you are. There is a passage in the Bible also which talks about this. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Render to no one evil for evil. We have a new way of labeling our acts of revenge these days. When we are getting back at someone or an institution, we don't call it revenge, but we say we are pointing out the injustice and the unfairness that is going on. And so we go on tirades on social media, send emails to all on our networks, tip off a journalist or two to write a scurrilous article, all in the name of correcting wrong practices. Schools especially are at the receiving end of disgruntled parents who think their children should have got disappointment or overlooked for some prize. And this entire process is very detrimental to the learning experience of the child. I always say that if a school overlooked your child due to oversight, prejudice, or sheer ignorance, the institution is the loser. Your child's leadership qualities, prowess in the sport or particular activity will not be diminished in any way. The earlier children learn about school, about disappointment, discrimination, and unfairness that abounds in the world, the better they will be able to cope. And later, when they are leaders in their fields or representing Sri Lanka in their sport, we will be gnashing our teeth wondering how we overlooked this child. Parents, respect the institution which is nurturing your child. If you and your child are happy 90% of the time, be charitable about the 10% that could go wrong. I want to give you an example. Once there was an error in the prize for English literature that we put up in the first draft of the prize list in our school notice board. And a girl came and said that she got more marks than the first girl whose name was put up as the prize winner. When the teacher in charge checked the prize mark book, she found yet another girl who had clearly got the highest, who hadn't complained at all. And so I called her to my office and asked her why she hadn't pointed out to the teacher that she should get the prize. And she just told me simply that she thought that the school had decided on another criterion to award the prize that year that was not necessarily based on marks. Such respect for an institution I have hardly come across. The next three challenges I want to lump together. Strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the afflicted. This is the real crux of our Christian schools. The founders of our Christian schools, the missionaries who came to our land, held first-class degrees from Oxford or Cambridge and gave up illustrious academic careers to come to this remote island and start schools to empower the weak and marginalized because they knew that social mobility could only be achieved through education. But it is truly ironic that increasingly our Christian schools are becoming inaccessible even to our own due to the high cost of school fees. I know that this is a particular burden to the Bishop of Colombo, and I know that many administrators struggle with this issue. How do we make sure the deserving do enter while balancing budgets, operational costs, developing infrastructure and facilities, etc.? I know that many of our Christian schools like to be thought of as elitist schools, including perhaps this school, while the ground reality is that there are children of very poor backgrounds, particularly Christian, whom the schools does admit. So who is to ensure that deserving or gifted students are not held back due to financial restrictions in taking part in extracurricular activities, being involved in a sport, or even in continuing their schooling? Perhaps girls' schools have the advantage here, with classmates being more sensitive and observant about children with needs, and a greater number of lady teachers with motherly instincts who will bring such needs to the notice of school authorities. Some of you may know the story of the late C.W.W. Kannangara, who is considered the father of free education, being offered a scholarship to Richmond College at grade 6. Richmond College was then a Methodist institution, and Reverend J.H. Durrell, the principal and a Methodist missionary, went as a chief guest to this remote Wesleyan missionary primary school in Randombe, where C.W.W. Kannangara kept coming up to receive prize after prize. He gave him a chance to sit for a Richmond College Foundation scholarship, which he won, receiving an award for free tuition and lodging at this elite school of the time, far superior instructions to that offered in rural school. I know that the Board of Governors of this school too, sometime back initiated an additional class at grade 6 so that students from different backgrounds and different parts of the island could enter. But I am not sure whether this practice has been discontinued due to saturation of classroom space and infrastructure. It wouldn't be fair to expect the warden and the school management to know the needs of all boys. If parents had conversations with their sons about classmates who may be finding it difficult, perhaps you could offer to meet some of their school needs. Boys, if you were sensitive to teammates who may struggle to pay for the rugby jersey or to buy spikes, I am sure your parents could pay for an extra one if only you mentioned it to them. You need to care enough to be sensitive. It is lovely to see the whole list of bursaries and scholarships donated in memory of old boys at the back of this prize list. But perhaps some of these endowments hardly cover a month's fees now. But what if parents and old boys routinely gave a percentage of their year-end bonus towards a scholarship fund in the school? How many students it could help? There are many ways to ensure that the poorer but deserving amongst us get this premium education. But all of us should want to ensure this diversity and this access to social mobility for them. This was the principle on which our Christian schools were founded. Let's be true to the values of our founders and revisit this uncomfortable issue of the economic composition of our schools. Schools are also an endless resource to help the less fortunate. For example, St. Thomas's boasts of a large number of societies and clubs. If only presidents of these clubs and teachers in charge made sure that at least one event of the year was to raise funds for a disadvantaged group in our land, how much could be given even by a half-hearted contribution from the student body? I know when our boys were in college, there was an annual appeal by the chaplain for stationery items. But there is so much more one could do, and so many organizations we could work with, organizations like Leeds, Candlelaide, or Lanka Prisons Fellowship. Indeed, in the Act of Parliament incorporating this school, one of the stated purposes was for the continuance of the native orphan asylum. I gathered from the longest-serving board member whom I grilled that there was an orphanage in the premises which the school was pledged to support and run, though the boys did not necessarily attend this school. Although the orphanage is no longer in the premises, you can clearly see the intention of Bishop Chapman to care for the less fortunate amongst us. But do these acts because you care, not because you want to gain brownie points in the school or for your university college application. A recent newspaper article spoke of a new approach to US college applications, where they are endorsing the view not to select students with high college scores or an endless list of sports and other activities, but to encourage applicants who have shown long-term commitment to social causes they find meaningful. The proposal is called Turning the Tide and is endorsed by major universities in the US. And I quote from the report, Too often, current forms of service are patronizing to recipients and don't spark in those providing the service a deeper understanding of social structures and inequalities. They urge students to work with students from different backgrounds in diverse groups for sustained periods of time. At Methodist College, whenever the school committee invited student leaders from an outstation school for a 2 or 3 day interactive activity, we insisted that those students be hosted in our girls' homes and not merely be accommodated in the school hostel. Don't do charity, share life with them. Encourage the Week is particularly relevant to teachers. Our salaries are low, our status in the scheme of vocations is low, and the only joy we get is when our students do well. So it is a real stress, I know, to have some weak students in our class, as our pass rate percentages will drop. But when we bewail the lack of ability in math or language that a student has, it is hard to separate condemnation of that skill deficiency from the personhood of that child. And many times I know we must be conveying the impression to that child that he or she is hopeless and good for nothing, not that the math skill is negligible. I know there are many teachers here who go out of their way to encourage students. I can think offhand of the encouragement that our sons got from Mr. Abduruna Aberatna, who was not even a member of the tutorial staff. And I want to affirm teachers who do so and encourage more to follow. How lovely if we would be the type of teacher our students remember long after we are gone and talk about to their grandchildren because of the impact we had on them by some kind word or action, and not the type of teacher that they laugh at their annual batch get-together. I want to throw a challenge to the old boys of the school as well. There is so much loyalty you generate from the school, and your efforts are all focused on the school in raising funds for various refurbishment programs and such like. But I want to raise two different issues. The first is to ask all of us present here, including students, that if we had a James Chapman in our midst, alumnus and master of Eton, MA from Cambridge, who in the height of his career at 46 decided to go as a missionary to a remote island called Ceylon, would we have encouraged him or called him a fool? Would we have told him to stick to academia and leave this missionary work to some lesser mortal with less talents? So perhaps there should also be encouragement of old boys to move into difficult areas, pioneer new paths, and second, perhaps the school invite not only old boys who have risen in the rank in difficult or less valued areas. Chosen sacrificial paths is one way for Christian schools to model helping the afflicted and supporting the weak is for them also to have one fundraiser a year at least for a less privileged community. To go there even on a day trip and experience their hardships. For a group of classmates to take their sons and work for a day in building a house in some community through Habitat for Humanity, for example. For the doctors who are alumni of this school, not only to do a free medical clinic for students and staff, deserving as they are of such attention, but also for poorer communities in Molpe or Deniaya. What an example that would be for our children. The last challenge, honor everyone. When there is a very wide disparity between income groups in a student body, it is hard to do so. Classmates may tend to click according to income groups. You may feel embarrassed to invite friends not from similar backgrounds to your home. Staff may be tempted to treat parents differently according to their income level. If a school can appoint boys to any leadership position irrespective of their economic background, it is a good indication that there is a level playing field and that students look up to or can command the respect of the student body irrespective of their backgrounds. Boys, do you look down on a teammate or a classmate because of his social or economic background? Do you respect teachers according to their mode of transport to school or how well they speak English? If you ask yourself these questions, you will know whether you honor and respect everyone equally or not. To those of us who teach students, I can only say, don't look at your student according to his situation right now. Think of what he may become by the honor everyone. Finally, I am saddened at the society, on the roads, in public transport, in workplaces, and of course, in the privacy of homes. There is something in our culture that is making women soft targets for ridicule, for abuse, for dishonor. Social media and the websites that spawn pornography do not help in changing this attitude. Again, you may regard it as being just for fun. Girls also like it or expect it. But it creates a process in our minds that will make us respect women less. How lovely if boys of this school spoke up for girls who they see being harassed in public places. Later on, when you are in your workplaces and in your marriage too, encourage women to develop and reach their potential. I know what it is to have a spouse who has been fully supportive of me and enabled me to reach my potential. And I urge you also to enable women to be fulfilled in their spheres of influence. Be leaders in this area so that you can confirm the popular myth that only gentlemen come out of this school. In conclusion, I thank the warden once again for inviting Priyan and me. Thank you for your patience and for your silence. I will read once more the challenge I threw you. Be of good courage. Hold fast that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor everyone. James Chapman, who received the best of education in two elitist institutions, Eton and Cambridge, chose to give it all up to come to this remote, unknown island 165 years ago. Whom will you choose to serve with the education you receive here? Thank you.
I now invite Professor Priyan Dias to please help us with giving out the awards.
We start off with College Forms Arts, the Borden Buck Memorial Form Prizes, College Arts E, HMT Dabre. Call Arts A, the D.W. Suryarachi Memorial Form Prize. For Call Arts A, HHS Senviratna. The Reverend Beckett De Silva Memorial Prize for Divinity, GCE De Silva. The prize for Logic, KHS Senviratna. The Mr. and Mrs. Hector Fernando Memorial Prize for English, KHS Senviratna. The MPZ Sirivardhan Memorial Prize for Elements of Political Science, HHS Senviratna. The Dr. E.L. Vikramaratna Memorial Prize for Geography, HHS Senviratna. The Forrest Sobey Second Memorial Prize for Classics, Greek and Roman Civilization, M.K.L. Peter. The Willie Chayatilaka Memorial Prize for History, GCE De Silva. The prize for the best student in College Forms Arts A, HHS Senviratna. College Arts B. The Mr. and Mrs. Simon Abe Vikrama Memorial Form Prize for College Arts B, KCK Pereira. The Lina Nyana Prakasam Prize for Divinity, EWDC Fernando. The Mrs. H.M. Vithanachri Prize for Classics, Greek and Roman Civilization, MSS Arifin. The Mr. and Mrs. Edgar D. Alvis Memorial Prize for English, V.E.C. Pereira. The Justice George Randolph Tistadas Bandaranaike and his wife Mrs. Johanna D. Bandaranaike Memorial Prize for Elements of Political Science, Ph.B. Dias. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for Geography, K.C.K. Pereira. The Willie Jayatilaka Memorial Prize for History, M.A. Jayawardena. The Prize for Logic, K.C.K. Pereira. The Dr. George Frederick Martinez Memorial Prize for the Best Student in College Forms Arts B, K.C.K. Pereira. College Forms E, Commerce Prizes. The Warden Buck Memorial Form Prizes, College Form Commerce E1, M.I.H. Milfer. E2, G. Neelagandan. E3, H.N.K. Gamage. College Form A prizes, the D.C.W. Vikramasekara Memorial Form Prize, College Forms A1, M.R.M.A. Rafiq. A2, K.P.M.D.E. Pereira. The PBR Vikramasekara Memorial Form Prizes, for College Forms A3, P.D. Fernando. A4, D.C. Moses. The George R. De Silva Memorial Prize for Economics, K.H.A.S. Arya Ratna. The S.D.S. Henwar Memorial Prize for Business Studies, K.P.M.D.E. Pereira. The L.J.D.S. Senivaratna Memorial Prize for Accounts, K.P.M.D.E. Pereira. College Forms B. The Deshabandhu David Edwin Hettiarach Memorial Form Prize for College Forms B1, A.H.M. Dialves. B2, S.R. Mututantri. The Mudli Area Form Prize for B3, A.Q.S. Ismail. For B4, N.D. Liana Patrina. The Ronnie R. Sirivardhan Memorial Prize for Economics, S.R. Mututantri, G.S.N. Pereira, and R.A.K. Fonseca. The Dr. and Mrs. Victor Hettigoda Prize for Business Studies, A.Q.S. Ismail. The Professor Lakshman R. Wattavala Prize for Accounts, A.Q.S. Ismail. College Science Form Prizes. College Science E Form, E1, T.T.N. Bahavan. E2, S.B. Gunasekara. E3, J.N. Aryadurai. The R.S.S. Watson Memorial Prize for Physics, J.N. Aryadurai. Prize for Combined Mathematics, T.T.N. Bahavan. The Dr. Anil N. Jayawardena Memorial Prize for Biology, I.S.R. Vipuladeva. The Priyantha Ranasinghe Memorial Prize for Chemistry, J.N. Aryadurai. College Science A form prizes. Science A1, J. Vikash. A2, M.Y. Vikramasuriya. A3, A.A. Azmi. The Borden S.J. Anandanayaka Memorial Prize for Physics and Mathematics, M.Y. Vikramasuriya. The K.A.T. Abru Memorial Prize for Physics, J. Vikash and M.Y. Vikramasuriya. The Sir Wilfred de Souza Memorial Prize for Chemistry, M.Y. Vikramasuriya. The Dr. and Mrs. L.E.J. Salgado Prize for Biology, A.A. Azmi. The Prize for Combined Mathematics, M.Y. Vikramasuriya. The Edward Ethery Memorial Prize for the Best Student in the College Form Science A, M.Y. Vikramasuriya. College Science B. The John Wilson Memorial Form Prize for B1, S. Niroshan. The ACG de Zoysa Memorial Form Prize for B2, P.D. Valavage. The Jayalak de Zoysa Memorial Form Prize for B3, UKM Premalal. The Dr. Hendrik de Silva Hettigoda Memorial Prize for Combined Mathematics, S. Niroshan. Prize for Physics, N.P. Ganeshiam. Prize for Combined Mathematics with Physics, S. Niroshan. Prize for Chemistry, UKM Premalal. The Dr. and Mrs. L.E.J. Salgado Prize for Biology, D.B.M. Dolat Sinhala. The D.R. Aryaratna Memorial Prize for Biology with Chemistry, UKM Premalal. Prize for Biology with Physics, N.P. Ganeshiam. The Warden AJC Selvaratnam Memorial Prize for the Best Student in College Form Science B, UKM Premalal. The London Advanced Level College Form A Prizes, A1, V.P. Samararatna. A2, V. Parthalingam. Prize for Accounts, M.N.M. Arkam. Prize for Business Studies, D.C.J. Gonavala. The late Mr. R.P.J. Mendes and the late Mrs. H.R.C. Mendes Prize for Economics, V. Parthalingam. The Prize for English Literature, V.P. Samararatna. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for Physics, V.P. Samararatna. The W.R.O. and E. Marine Fernando Memorial Prize for Chemistry, V.P. Samararatna. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for Mathematics, A. Ratnakumar. Prize for Further Mathematics, A.U. Fazil. Prize for Psychology, D.C.J. Gonavala. Prize for Law, V. Parathalingam. Prize for Travel and Tourism, N.H.M. De Silva. Prize for Computer Science, A. Ratnakumar. The C.P. Sanjay Mendis Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the London Advanced Level College Forms A, V. Parathalingam. College Forms B Form Prizes. B1, K.R. Batwangala. B2, S.Y. Jayasuriya. The Raja Asirvardhan Memorial Prize for Accounts, T. Vasantakumar. Prize for Business Studies, A.J. Lianage. Prize for Economics, S.Y. Jayasuriya. Prize for English Literature in memory of Mrs. Dora Boteju, S.Y. Jayasuriya. The Mrs. C.W.S. Fernando Memorial Prize for Physics, K.R. Batwangala. Mr. and Mrs. D.A. Vehala Memorial Prize for Chemistry, K.R. Batwangala. The R.D. Sirisena Memorial Prize for Mathematics, K.R. Batwangala. The Prize for Further Mathematics, A.S.W.G. Bulankulame. The Warden Lynn Ilankon Memorial Prize for Biology, K.R. Batwangala. Prize for Psychology, A. Kapukotua. The Harshula Vimalashanti Memorial Prize for Computer Science, H.P.K. Nanakkara. Prize for Law, S.Y. Jayasuriya. Prize for Travel and Tourism, S.A.C.W. Jayasekara. The Alex Vijay Sinha Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the London Advanced Level College Forms B, K.R. Batwangala.
Upper School, Upper Sixth Form, the WKGN Pereira Memorial Form Prizes, Upper 6A, N.A. Abunab, Upper 6B, C.N. Gurusingha, Upper 6C, P.A.B. Yashendra, Upper 6D, W.M.H.C. Veerasingha, Upper 6E, V. Gajoshan, Upper 6F, K.Y.K. Senaratna, the Michael Arasaratnam Memorial Prize for Divinity, S.C. Sahabandhu, the Squadron Leader Shiran V. Pereira Memorial Prize for Buddhism, W.M.H.C. Veerasingha, the K. Ganeshalingam Memorial Prize for Saivism, V. Gajoshan, Prize for Islam, N.A. Abunab, the Hugh Vijay Singha Memorial Prize for English, K.Y.K. Senaratna, the H.S. Jayakuru Memorial Prize for Sinhala, H.P.L. Fernando, the late Kala Suryarisen Ahubudu Prize for Sinhala Literature, G.M.O. Vijayaratna, the Dr. V. Gabriel Memorial Prize for Tamil, N.A. Abunab, the Lloyd Gunawardena Memorial Prize for Mathematics, K.Y.K. Senaratna, The JWFH Prince Memorial Prize for Science, Sinhala Medium, WMHC Veerasinghe. The S.N. Velupille Memorial Prize for Science, Tamil Medium, V. Gajoshan. The Prize for Science, English Medium, K.Y.K. Senaratna. Prize for History, E. Yuvashant. Mr. Lionel Senaratna and Mrs. Millicent Senaratna Memorial Prize for Business Studies, K.Y.K. Senaratna. The JWFH Prince Memorial Prize for Information and Communication Technology, K.Y.K. Senaratna. The Sub-Warden Edmund St. Patrick Gunawardena Memorial Prize for English Language and English Literature, V. Gajoshan. The David Painter Memorial Prize for Art, H.P.L. Fernando. The F.R.S. Mendes Memorial Prize for Music, K.Y.K. Senaratna. The Early Vijayawardena Memorial Prize for English Literature, V. Gajoshan. The Matthias Dimmel Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Upper Sixth Form, K.Y.K. Senaratna. Middle Sixth Form, the Reverend A.S.P. Gunathilaka Memorial Form Prizes, Middle 6A, J.C. Pereira. Middle 6B, S.S. Gunawardena. Middle 6C, J.D.D. Ayeshan. Middle 6D, S. Dayaratna. Middle 6E, NWMA Veerasurya. Middle 6F, R. Vengadesh. The JLD Pieris Memorial Prize for Divinity, Sinhala Medium, SPR Fernando. Tamil Medium, A. Satyaseelan. The S.H. Mahadevul Baba Memorial Prize for Buddhism, B.M.C. Vandibona. Prize for Saivism, R.M. Vinod. The Mrs. Siti Latifa Samsudeen Memorial Prize for Islam, KMMIH Hassan. The Kevin Morrison Memorial Prize for English, S. Dayaratna. The Roshan Aryaratna Memorial Prize for Sinhala, S. Dayaratna. The late Kalasuri Arisen Ahubudu Prize for Sinhala Literature, ICC Vipuladeva. The E.S. Harichandra Memorial Prize for Tamil, R.M. Vinod. The Rasaya Memorial Prize for Mathematics, R.M. Vinod. The J.P. Manika Singha Memorial Prize for Science, Sinhala medium, S.S. Gunawardana. Tamil medium, R.M. Vinod. English medium, J.C. Pereira. The Mollimore Prize for History, J.C. Pereira. Prize for Business Studies, Sinhala and English medium, M.S. Sapukotanage. Tamil medium, R.M. Vinod. The W.C.L. Fernando Memorial Prize for Information and Communication Technology, J.C. Pereira. The Mudaliya ACGS Amarasekara Memorial Prize for Art, S.P.R. Fernando. The Reverend L.G.B. Fernando Memorial Prize for Music, S. Dayaratna. The M.L.J. Vikramaratna Memorial Prize for English Literature, S.H. Vikramasuriya. The Sub-Warden Orville Abenayaka Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Middle Sixth Form, S. Dayaratna. Lower Sixth Form, the Sir Sangarapille Pararajasingham Memorial Form Prizes, Lower 6A, H.R.V. Fernando. Lower 6B, R. Abithan. Lower 6C, S.S. Tisarachi. Lower 6D, LKT Surakshit. Lower 6E, GAVP Arachi. Lower 6F, V. Nilesh. The Canon W.H.W. Jayasekara Memorial Prize for Divinity, MSU Fernando. Prize for Islam, A.J. Wafiq. The Amaradasa Abekun Memorial Prize for Buddhism, LKT Surakshit. The S. Venasitambi Memorial Prize for Saivism, R. Abithan. The Bertie Vijay Singha Prize for English, R. Abithan. The Nalin Fernando Prize for Sinhala, D.R. Dodampegama. The S.N. Velupille Memorial Prize for Tamil, R. Abithan. The R.N.S.K. Karalakula Singha Memorial Prize for Mathematics, L.K.T. Surakshit and R. Abithan. Prize for Science, H.A. Dharmasekara. The GFP Bandara Memorial Prize for History, R. Abithan. Prize for Linked Languages, Tamil, S. Abithan. Sinhala, H.R.V. Fernando. The David Arya Ratnam Memorial Prize for Music, R. Abithan. Professor Nalini Jayasuriya Memorial Prize for Art, H.R.V. Fernando. Prize for English Literature in memory of Mrs. Dora Boteju, W.G.W. Boteju. The Dr. D.J. Arya Ratna Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Lower Sixth Form, L.K.T. Surakshit.
Middle School Form Prizes. The A.T. Sinnathambi Memorial Form Prize, Form 5A, H.R.H. Pires. Form 5B, R. Ilampurnan. Form 5C, D.V. Giganage. Form 5D, V. Nilukshan. Form 5E, V.R. Pirapaharan. Form 5F, P.V.D.P. Pereira. The Bishop's Prize for Divinity, H.R.H. Pires. The Mr. and Mrs. David Kodituaku Prize for Buddhism, E.B.D.R. Tisaranga. Prize for Islam, A.N. Samad. The Colonel R. Kumaranaga Memorial Prize for Saivism, V. Nilukshan. The Merrill Ilankakon Memorial Prize for English, H.R.H. Pires. The Cyril De Silva Memorial Prize for Sinhala, K.K.N. Metnuka. The Dr. V. Gabriel Memorial Prize for Tamil, R. Ilampurna. The J.P. Salgado Senior Memorial Prize for Mathematics, V. Nilukshan. Prize for Science, V. Nilukshan. Prize for History, V. Nilukshan. Professor Nalini Jayasuriya Memorial Prize for Art, U.L.S.W. Kunasinghe. The F.R.S. Mendes Memorial Prize for Music, P.V.D.P. Pereira. Prizes for Link Languages, Sinhala, V. Nilukshan, Tamil, A.N. Samad. The Devendra Khandaya Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Boy in Form 5, V. Nilukshan. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for the Most Improved Student in the Middle School, C.T. Priyankarage. Upper Fourth Form. The Reverend Canon Charles Thomas Memorial Form Prizes, Upper 4A, M.W.V.D.M.J. Vijay Vikrama. Upper 4B, W.R.S. Rodrigo. Upper 4C, V.S. Atuluvage. Upper 4D, W.S.N. Pereira. Upper 4E, P.L.M. Dias. Upper 4F, S.P. Dimel. The Arthur and Irene Pinto Jayavardhana Memorial Prize for Divinity, Y.A.S. De Silva. The L.P. Vikramasuriya Memorial Prize for Buddhism, E.D.T.N. Dialves. Prize for Islam, M.J.A. Imad. Prize for Saivism, S. Aswedan. The Lucian and Mrs. Ruth Vijayasinghe Memorial Prize for English, S.P. Dimel. The Arosha Lekha Vasam Memorial Prize for Sinhala Language, W.S.N. Pereira. The C. Sachitanandan Memorial Prize for Tamil, M.A. Malcolm. The Vernon Dilivera Tennakoon Memorial Prize for Mathematics, S. Asvedan. The Nalin Fernando Prize for General Studies, W.R.S. Rodrigo. The late Dr. C.V.X.R. Brito Baba Pulle Memorial Prize for Social Studies, R.S.S. Serasingha. The Gate Mudlia J.R. Surya Bandara Memorial Prize for Art, C.D. Vijayapala. The Reverend Lucian G.B. Fernando Memorial Prize for Music, S.P. DeMel. Prize for Link Languages, Sinhala, I.J. Daniel, Tamil, M.U. Hasim Dean. The Ganegote Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Upper Fourth Form, S.P. DeMel. Lower Fourth Forms. The Paul and Joyce Gunathilaka Memorial Form Prizes, Lower 4A, S.P. Pereira. Lower 4B, K.D.T.D. Gunaratna. Lower 4C, W.M.S.D. Bandara. Lower 4D, M.G.S. Fernando. Lower 4E, W.M.U. Veerasinghe. And Lower 4F, S.J. Vanagasuriya. The Canon W.H.W. Jayasekure Memorial Prize for Divinity, S.J. Vijayasinghe, W.C.M. Fernando, and R.M.K.R. Karunatilaka. The Jamaldeen Hamid Marika Memorial Prize for Islam, H.A. Ahmed. The Colonel R. Kumaranayaga Memorial Prize for Saivism, V. Vakisan, and S. Takshinadayan. The T. Justin Perius Memorial Prize for Buddhism, K.D.T.D. Gunaratna. Prize for English, J.D.N. Morris. The Charles D.S. Ranavira Memorial Prize for Sinhala, T.D.P. Ruberu, W.M.M.B. Balasuriya, and M.T.A.I. Gunathilaka. Prize for Tamil, M. Santhurshan. The V.P. Cook Memorial Prize for Mathematics, A.M.K.D. Atapattu. The K.A. Diabru Memorial Prize for Science, M.G.S. Fernando. The Warden C.H.L. Davidson Memorial Prize for Art, E.R.T.D. Bandara. Prize for Link Languages, Sinhala, J.T. Bastian, Tamil, K.D.T.D. Gunaratna. The Carl Dilivera Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Lower Fourth Form, K.D.T.D. Gunaratna.
Lower School, Upper Third Form, the Doreen Patricia Gunaratna Hensman Memorial Form Prizes, Upper 3A, S.N. Jayamana, Upper 3B, P.E. Fernando, Upper 3C, APG Sebanyanam. Upper 3D, TR Senaviratna. Upper 3E, YA Figueroa. And Upper 3F, SN Kalansurya. The Arthur Elavala Memorial Prize for Divinity, Y.A. Figueroa and AMRO Ratnayaka. The G.L. Jinadasa Memorial Prize for Buddhism, T.R. Senaviratna. The M. Yusuf Samsudin Memorial Prize for Islam, M.S. Sadat. Prize for Saivism, T. Kishan. The Margaret Pereira Memorial Prize for English, P.E. Fernando. The Dr. H.C. Gomez Memorial Prizes for Language, Sinhala, S.N. Kalansurya. Tamil, A. Eason. The prize for English recitation, Y.M. Hebawasan. Prize for Sinhala recitation, D.C. Samarasinghe. Prize for Tamil recitation, G. Hemabandhan. Prize for mathematics, T. Kishan. The Kirti Kalupahana Memorial Prize for Environmental Studies, D.S. Nanyakara. The Marnell Piris Memorial Prize for Art, Y.D. Patinayaka. The Noel Vijayratna Memorial Prize for Singing, M.A. Winston. The Reverend J.Y. Barnabas Memorial Prize for the Best All-Round Student in the Upper 3 Form, P.E. Fernando. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for the Most Improved Student in the Lower School, M.Z. Zihar. Lower Third Form, the Krishan Ishan Fernando Memorial Form Prizes, Lower 3A, NCB Subasinghe. Lower 3B, DKH Baranage. Lower 3C, G.S. Rajiv. Lower 3D, AAT Marika. Lower 3E, SARMA De Silva. The Reverend Brian and Mrs. Raji Thirimana Memorial Prize for Divinity, RNR Kandappa and G.S. Rajiv. The S.C. Fernando Memorial Prize for Buddhism, KDS Pereira, D.R. Madabala and NCB Subasinghe. The M. Yusuf Samsudin Memorial Prize for Islam, N.A. Mohammad Nawaz. Prize for Saivism, U. Benushan. The J.H.S. Piris Memorial Prize for English, A.D. Pereira. Mrs. K. Bandara Tilaka Memorial Prize for Sinhala, D.P. Dharanyagala. Prize for Tamil, S. Kedaran. The Jim Karuna Ratna Memorial Prize for Mathematics, NCB Subasinghe. Prize for Art, D.P. Dharanyagala. The Halok Ananda Raja Memorial Prize for Singing, S.J. Kure. Prize for English Recitation, S. Kedaran. Prize for Sinhala Recitation, D.N.A. Vijayanayaka. Prize for Tamil Recitation in memory of Mr. Ratnasiri Fernando, G.K. Ratnam. Thank you, Professor. And now we call upon Mrs. Dias to give out the next set of prizes. Special prizes. The Senior Bishop's Divinity Prize, GCE De Silva. The F.H.D. Winton Memorial Prize for Liturgy, KYK Senaratna. The Arthur Ella Memorial Prize for Divinity Non-Christians, H.A.J. Vijay Singha. The Roger and Gladys DeMille Memorial Choir Prize, S.J. Jebamani. The Walter Dias Bandaranaike Memorial Choir Prize, Senior, M.S. Ebenezer. The Fred Etherisinghe Memorial Choir Prize, Junior, J.R. Ravi. The Sub-Warden Patrick Gunawardena Memorial Prize for the Leader of the Choir, A.R. Samarasinghe. Prize for the Member of the Choir, S.R. Faber. The Sub-Warden Orville Abenaika Memorial Choir Prize for the Most Promising Treble, A.J. Punchiheva. Choir Prize for Attendance, S.E.J. Daniel. Prize for reading the lesson in chapel in memory of Lambert William Isaac Fernando, D.S. Disanaika. The Bishop Harold de Souza Memorial Prize for the Senior Sacristan, T.R. N.R. Kondegama. The Reverend Bertram and Mrs. Frances Vikramanayaka Memorial Prize for Servers, Senior, W.M. White. The Sub-Warden Orville Abenaika Memorial Prize for Servers, Junior, A.M. Tisera. The Canon R.S. Deserum Prize for Comparative Religion, KYK Senaratna. The E.L. Pereira Memorial Prize for Mathematics, Seniors, D.R. Vijayaratna, Juniors, S. Sai Sivendra. The Warden E.F. Miller Memorial Prize for Mathematics, T.T.N. Bahavan. Prize for Mathematics, T.T.N. Bahavan. The S.M. Satharasinghe Memorial Prize for Mathematics in the college form, G. Hamshavardhanan. The Lloyd Gunawardena Memorial Prize for Science in the college form, J. N. Aryadure. The Shelton Kotachi Challenge Cup for the student with the best performance at the Inter-School Software Competition, T.S.M. Piris. Information and Communication Technology Prize, Middle Sixth Form Upwards, T.D.T. Piris. The Warden C.H.L. Davidson Memorial Prize for College History, KYK Senaratna. The D.R. Vijayawardena Memorial Prize for Political History of Sri Lanka, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Dr. Chanaka Abaratunga Memorial Prize for Knowledge of Current Affairs and Politics, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Richard de Souza Memorial Prize for English Composition, V.P. Samararatna. The Art Memorial Prize for English Literature, KHAS Arya Ratna. The P.R. Sirivardhana Prize for English Composition, KHAS Arya Ratna. The RFA Mendes Memorial Prize for English, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Warden de Serum Jubilee Memorial Prize for English, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Roger and Gladys DeMille Memorial Prize for English Poetry, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Ethel Winifred Edrisinghe Memorial Prize for English Grammar, T. Gunawardhana. The Rosie and A.W. Frederick Senanayaka Memorial Prize awarded to the editor of the College magazine, G. Neelagandan. The Samson de Silva Thenabadu Trophy for the Interhouse General Knowledge Quiz, Stonehouse. The Warden Stone Memorial Prize for Classics, Greek and Roman Civilization in College Form Arts, RDD Emerson. The W.M.L. Martinez Memorial Prize for Western Classics, PABP Navaratna. The C.P. Sanjay Mendes Prize for Sinhala, G.M.O. Vijayaratna. The Gate Mudaliya N.N. Thamodara Memorial Prize for Tamil, N.A. Abunab. The K.C. Kamala Sebasan P.C. Memorial Award for Tamil Literature, N.A. Abunab. The Sub-Warden F.J. Senaratna Memorial Prize for General Knowledge, V.R. Peerapaharan. Prize for History, S. Arifin. The Metropolitan Lakdas DeMille Memorial Prize for Natural History Senior, K.Y.K. Senaratna. The Gamini Gunasekara Memorial Prize for Natural History Junior, J.A. Bulat Singhala. The Mike Ilangakon Memorial Prize for the Improvement of the Environment, KHAS Arya Ratna. The Mr. and Mrs. H.J.A. Hulugala Memorial Prize for a Short Story in English, P.S. Veerasinghe. The Ilangakon Memorial Prize for Oratory, English, A.M.D. Pereira. Sinhala, J.D.D. Ayeshan. The Sarat Mutruegama Memorial Prize for Oratory, English in Sinhala or English in Tamil, G. Hamshabadanan. The W.R.O. Fernando Memorial Prize for the Best Debater in Sinhala, M.T. Dabare. Prize for the Best Debater in Tamil, G. Hamshavadhanam. The Sir Sangarapillai Pararajasingham Memorial Prize for the Best Debater in English, S.T. Vikramanayaka.
The S.E. Satharasinha Memorial Challenge Trophy for Chess, R. Ilampurnan. The ALF and MEC Fernando Memorial Trophy for the Best Scrabble Player, R.S. Vijayasekara. The D.C. Gunavardhana Charlie Memorial Prize for the Senior Cadet, R.R.M.R.U. Ratnayaka. Trophy for Special Merit for a Senior Cadet in memory of Rajiv Veerasurya, L.H.A. De Silva. The Wing Commander Tilina Kaluarachi Memorial Trophy for the Most Outstanding Senior Cadet, not an NCO, K.P. Jayasundara. The David R. Hallock Memorial Prize for an outstanding cadet with good record for studies and discipline, A.U. Rambukpota. The E.B. Vikramnayaka Challenge Trophy for intersection training, R.R.M.R.U. Ratnayaka. The Warden Captain C.H. Davidson CCB Memorial Prize for Marksmanship Senior, A.U. Ramukpota. The Artha Abhesekar Memorial Trophy for Efficiency in Scouting, P.R. Vanagasuriya. The A.L. Victor Memorial Prize for the Best Scout, A.Q.H. Muhid. Prize for the Best Junior Scout in memory of Mr. W.H. Pereira, K.M.A.I. Kulatunga. The Samson De Silva Thenabada Trophy for the Most Promising Junior Scout, A.F.A. Nishad. The Johnson Challenge Cup for the Best Patrol Junior, Leopard Patrol. Prize for the Most Outstanding Cub. First prize, U. Alagiavanna. Second prize, J. A. Darius. And third prize, Y. A. Figueroa. The Samson De Silva Thenabadu Memorial Trophy for the Best Actor, S.V.L. Mendes. The Reverend Canon Roy Yin Memorial Prize for an Outstanding Actor with Notable Academic Achievement, S.V.L. Mendes. The Louis A.P. Pires Derniagal Memorial Challenge Cup for Senior Tennis, V. Fernando. The Challenge Cup for Junior Tennis, A.R. Ismail. The Banti Gunatilaka Memorial Prize for the Best Performance at the Ceylon School's Tennis Meet, Seniors, A. Pereira. Trophy for Table Tennis in memory of the late Honorable Nalanda Ellavala, A.L. Vikramathilaka. The Challenge Trophy for Best Badminton Player of the Year, H.S.M. De Silva. The trophy for the Most Outstanding Hockey Player, H.V.K.J. Pires. The Shield for the Most Promising Hockey Player in memory of Ranil Abenaikar, Senior T.N. Dalla. Junior Y.M. Gunawardana. The Janaka de Fonseca Memorial Trophy for the Most Outstanding Basketball Player, R.S. Gunadasa. The trophy for the Leader of the Havisi Band, H. Fernando. The trophy for the Best Junior Havisi Bandsman, B. Karliadda. The trophy for the Most Promising Senior Bandsman, S. Sirivardhana. The trophy for the Best Junior Bandsman, R. Abirthan. The trophy for the Band Leader, V. Samaravira. The trophy for the Leader of the Orchestra, B.R. De Alves. The trophy for the Most Promising Junior Orchestral Player, S. Dayaratna. The trophy for the Most Promising Senior Orchestral Player, R. V. Samaravira. The CSDS Senivaratna Memorial Prize for the Oarsman with Best Record in Work and Games, Senior, H.R. Nanak Kara. The Challenge Shield for Swimming, D.V. Veeraratna. The Manikam Saranamuthu Challenge Cup for the Best Junior Swimmer, P. Arukshan. The Dr. R.L. Heyman Memorial Trophy for Diving, S.Y.S. Anthony's. The trophy for the Best Ruggerite of the Season, A. Herat. In Israel Trophy for an Outstanding Fresher of the Year, First 15 Rugby, in memory of our respected rugby coach, teacher, and headmaster, S. John. Prize in memory of Shamil Manojit Jinasena for a junior ruggerite with best record in games and work, B.T. Iriagama. The David R. Hallock Memorial Scholarship Prize for a senior ruggerite with the best record in work and games, S. De Silva. Prize for squash, C. Ramukpota. The Warden Deseram Challenge Cup for the best athlete of the year, C.V. Kasturiarachi. The Karl Ramesh Vedavanam Challenge Cup for Junior Athletics, M.S. Ishaq. The Challenge Cup for the most promising junior cricketer, under 17, R.P. Nala Perumal. The Leonard Arndt Memorial Prize for the cricketer with best record in games and work, R.S. Kodituaku. The AF Chikka Molamure Memorial Challenge Cup for the best all-round Thomian cricketer of the year, P.M.H. Nanakara. The Clinton Dimel Memorial Prize for the best batsman of the Royal Thomian cricket match, R.S. Kodituaku. The F.H. Stevens Memorial Prize for batting, R.S. Kodituaku. Bowling, S. Jayatilaka. The F.L. Gunawardena Batting Shield, S.Y.C.K. Vikramasinghe. The Shield for the best all-round house in the lower school, Buck House. The Lawrence Arndt Memorial Shield for the Champion Day House, Stone House. The Arsu Tureyappa Memorial Shield for the best all-round house, Stone House.
The W.T. Keeble Memorial Challenge Cup for the best all-round boy in the lower school, S.N. Kalansurya. The Priyanga Gunaratna Prize for the best all-round student under 17 years of age, K.Y.K. Senaratna. The Dr. Lakshman Lekam Vasam Memorial Prize for the student with the best A-level results in the biological science stream, J.N. Aryadure. The Indra Kumar Kulasingham Memorial Shield for the best advanced level results in the math stream, T.T.N. Bahavan. The Professor PPGL Sirivardhana Memorial Prize for the student with the best London advanced level results, H.R. Nanyakara. The S.E. Sathurasinghe Memorial Prize for the first and second best performance at the GCE advanced level examination, first T.T.N. Bahavan, second J.N. Aryadure. The J.L.D. Peiris Memorial Prize for the best student in college forms, arts and science, T.T.N. Bahavan. The Admiral H.A. Silva VSV Challenge Trophy for the best all-round student in academics and sports, S. Jayatilaka. The Warden S.J. Anandanayagam Memorial Prize for the best all-round sportsman, D.V. Veeraratna. the Royce Dean Challenge Cup for the most promising junior sportsman of the year, under 16, C.V. Kasturiarachi. The Dr. R.L. Heyman Memorial Trophy for the best all-round boy among the college boarders, AAM Sarachandra. The Placidus and Merle Vijay Sekra Memorial Prize for the best all-round student who has qualified to enter university in Sri Lanka, HMT Dabare. The Saravanamuthu Prize, awarded to a student demonstrating early promise of exhibiting human excellence and virtue in adult life to commemorate a distinguished Thomian family. SDS Sansoni. The Hinton Dialvis Seneviratna Memorial Trophy for an academic achievement during the year, TTN Bahavan. The Victoria Gold Medal for the best all-round student, G. Neelagandhan.
My Lord Bishop, our chief guest this evening, Mrs. Shanti Dias and Professor Priyan Dias, members of the Board of Governors, Warden, distinguished invitees, members of staff, prize winners, students, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it a privilege to stand before you to propose the vote of thanks to our chief guest this evening. Mrs. Dias, thank you for having accepted our invitation and gracing this occasion as the chief guest. Having been the principal at Methodist College, or the other school by the sea, for so many years, you are most certainly not a stranger to prize givings, and without doubt have spent long hours on stage shaking hands with many prize winners. As stated by our warden in his welcome speech, your many achievements during your tenure as principal at Methodist College are remarkable, to say the least. And one is reminded of a certain light-hearted activity which took place one April Fool's Day some years ago. My initial introduction to you came through my wife, who was an admiring pupil and a member of your staff, whose constant and ear-numbing repetition of your efficiency in the school and talents at the piano has been useful to me in preparing this vote of thanks. It is said that you are able to walk faster than a speeding bullet, recall the names of every student, and your fingers work at lightning speed when placed on a keyboard, piano, and otherwise. Thank you, madam, for your words of wisdom, for speaking certain truths which are difficult for many to hear, for being a role model to many, and for being here with us this evening. It is said that behind every successful man is a woman, but the man behind every successful woman is not often spoken about. But you, Professor Priyan, successful in your own right, have no doubt been the silent strength behind Mrs. Dias. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and an old boy of whom St. Thomas's can be proud, for not just your achievements, but also the unassuming manner in all your dealings. Thank you, sir, for being here with us this evening and for handing out the prizes. May I also take this opportunity to express my thanks to all those who sacrificed their time and effort and worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth running of this event. Finally, I wish to congratulate our prize winners this evening. A school is as good as the achievements of the students, and you have shown your brilliance in work, conduct, and play, and without doubt have made all the members of the staff here on stage proud of you. Keep up the good work, strive to better yourself, and one day be a gentleman of whom St. Thomas's could be proud. Thank you, and God bless you all. Esto Perpetua.
The Lord Bishop of Colombo, Right Reverend Diloraj Kanagasabe, Chief Guest Mrs. Shanti Dias and Professor Priyan Dias, members of the Board of Governors, distinguished invitees, Warden Sir, Sub-Warden Sir, members of staff, fellow Thomians, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and a privilege to second the vote of thanks on behalf of the student body to our Chief Guest, Mrs. Shanti Dias and Professor Priyan Dias, for having graced today's occasion and handing out so many prizes, which is not an easy task. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Mrs. Arons and all the members of staff who pitched in to make this event a brilliant success. Mrs. Dias, your life in school was not just about maintaining good grades, but also getting breaks for your friends, who very much needed it. Let me remind you of a certain teacher, a teacher affectionately called Full Moon, and her peculiar practice of using the same colored chalk as a sari to write on the blackboard. It is said that you, madam, spotted this teacher wearing a green sari, and through no fault of anyone, all green chalks disappeared into your bag, making the poor teacher search for them. And then you spent the better part of the period going to the office to get the chalks, when all what the unsuspecting teacher had to do was to check your bag. I know that this incident in your youthful ages has given you the experience and necessary skills to negotiate with our warden for a holiday. Being the wife of a school prefect and mother of 2 school prefects, you wouldn't need an explanation to what all Thomians eagerly look forward to when the day of the prize giving draws near. The envelopes in their hands are almost forgotten when the prospect of added holiday lingers in their minds as the just reward for their hard work and toil. But this year, I am forced to break away from tradition and not ask for a holiday on Friday, the immediate working day after the prize giving, because our beloved warden let slip at a meeting that Friday is indeed a holiday, for reasons only known to him. Now, madam, it would be pointless if our warden settles with only Friday as an official holiday. Madam, you are the second head of a girls' institution to be invited as a chief guest by St. Thomas's. While school signals a strengthening of bonds between STEC and girls' schools, the student body also feels the need to do so. Hence, we have a request for you, the ambassador, for such an endeavor. March brings certain practices alight, and one such practice is the invasion of girls' schools. So we would like to give you 2 options. First would be to declare the Tuesday, the 9th of February, a holiday, to scout the grounds of Methodist, which is under new management, or to use your influence with the current principal of Methodist to declare Friday, the 11th of March, the second day of the big match, as a holiday for the girls, so that they could be part of our tradition. We as Sri Lankans are quite fond of holidays. Maybe it's because our country has the most number of holidays in a year. Or perhaps it's because we are generous towards our teachers who deserve a rest. But unfortunately, we tend to forget to celebrate the ones of greater value to us. Now it is said that people consider 8th of February as Proposal Day, the first day of the Valentine week, which adds an extra burden on people's lives. Being an excellent pianist would have helped you in securing a gentleman. But it's not always the case for a gentleman to find the love of his life. Madam, I believe that the entire school would agree that you should speak on our behalf and convince our warden to declare Monday a holiday so that by the 14th, each of us may have a young lady who would scatter light in our lives. Thank you, Mr. Upavichwa.
First of all, I want to refute the wild allegations made by the head prefect. My lawyer will be contacting you shortly. Secondly, if any of you have affiliations to Methodist College, you will know of my extreme reluctance to declare perfectly normal working days as a holiday. And not even your former warden and his wife, when they came as chief guests to our prize giving, could persuade me to do otherwise. And in my former capacity, I would have generously declared tomorrow, the 4th of February, as the prize giving holiday. Unfortunately, I am a guest to this school with a 165-year tradition, and so I reluctantly declare Friday, 5th February, as the prize giving holiday.
May we now stand for the college song and the national anthem.
Glorious
Let's have 3 hearty cheers for the chief guest. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.